Good afternoon, and welcome to our training on sensitivity analysis for capital budgeting. Jumping right into this, what is a sensitivity analysis? Our more technical definition from Investopedia here: a sensitivity analysis is used to determine how different values of an independent variable affect a particular dependent variable under a given set of assumptions. To put that into more useful words, it's used to help businesses estimate what will happen to a project if the assumptions and estimates turn out to be unreliable, whether it's faulty data or whether it's things in the marketplace change. Um, we've seen a lot of that here recently with supply chain issues and things like that. Therefore, sensitivity analysis are really important for budgeting for capital investments and really most budgeting for futuristic things that involve some type of estimation. They are displayed typically as a tornado graph, as we can see here, in a graph that lays out the different risk on the y axis and their overall effect on the project cost on the x axis here. Um, as we see in risk one, the larger the spread, the more volatile or higher risk that particular item is. So, how does this work? They're completed by taking various qualitative data categories and quantifying them with an expected outcome as well as a range of outcomes. So, looking at some of what could happen if things don't go exactly how they're planned. These results of the different outcomes are used to see how sensitive a desired or a different category is on a desired end result, such as profit, in the case of a capital budget, and is how, or excuse me, how that profit is affected by each category. Understanding how sensitive each category is important to understanding the risk associated both with that category and that category's effect on the overall budget. And so we'll look at some examples of that as we go through. So, understanding the qualitative steps, creating different qualitative data categories is an important starting point in developing this budget. This includes researching past projects, could be interviews with different vendors and price quotes and timing quotes, things like that, to get an estimate of how much it should cost, but also what categories should be in there. And those different categories are the qualitative part. So an example can be things like interest fees, cost of materials, cost of labor, construction, and developmental time, et cetera. All those different things, those different categories that you need to analyze. Then we need to quantify those different things. So all those different categories by assigning them a value and estimate. This could be that specific quote we got on all those different line item things. This can be going back and looking at what the last time we did a project like this cost us. So our example here, construction time is estimated to cost 90 days and therefore will cost $30,000. That was the bid that we were given by the contractor in this scenario. Because there's no guarantee that this contractor will be able to hit those numbers and those dates, those estimated values must be run through a sensitivity analysis, right? We got to look at both the positive and negatives and how they would affect the desired end result, our overall capital budget. So if construction time is reduced by 15 days and they're able to save a little bit of time for whatever reason, we end up saving 16.7% or $5,000. However, if construction time runs over 100 by 15 days to 105, that same $5,000 or 16.7% again now is working against us. So maybe the contractor gave us a bid of 90 days, $30,000, and they said, their average time is within 15 days of that. Then we would want to look at our sensitivity analysis of where are we going to fall on that range of 15 days? Is that risk worth the reward, or make this project still viable? So, how would we incorporate this into a capital budget? Well, capital budget is an analysis used to estimate the amount of resources a business would need to invest into a project or equipment and the amount of profit they will generate as a result. So, in order to figure out how much we would have to invest and how that is going to affect the profit, this sensitivity analysis very much comes into play because because project managers need an understanding of how different ranges in those different data points, those qualitative data categories, could impact the end result. And then we see our last quote here. It prepares the business manager in case the project doesn't generate the expected result, so they can better analyze the project before making an investment. Right? In other words, it gives us a much better understanding of the risk associated with different capital budget projects. Is it worth it? Is it not? It's hard to tell, but at least gives us or helps that project manager to have a better expectation of what could happen. Here are my references, and thank you for your time.